I go beast mode, all on the world like Eco. I go pray like CeeLo, can't stop me like Chico's. Hey, way too fast. I gotta go, I'm in the zone, foot on the gas.
Too strong, baby.
So here's how these teams look now. Russell Westbrook joins a Wizards team that is built around, of course, Bradley Beal, who averaged the second most points last season, behind only Westbrook's former teammate, James Harden. As for John Wall, he will team up with Harden, who became the first player since Michael Jordan to average 30 points in 3 straight seasons. Joining us now, ESPN's NBA analyst, Matt Barnes. So, Matt, Russell Westbrook goes to Washington. John Wall is now a Rocket. Which team got the better end of this deal?
Linda, this was kind of a weird trade to me, and I think we're going to have to wait to see these guys actually play with their new team and develop the chemistry to really be able to tell who got the better end of the stick. To me, they're very similar players.
Chemistry is everything. I don't have to tell you, that's for sure. Now, in trading for Russell Westbrook, are the Wizards doing enough to contend for a title in the East?
I wouldn't say title, but I think they definitely have a chance to make the playoffs. They're putting the ball back in Russell Westbrook's hands, and we all know how great he is when he has the ball in his hands. And they're surrounding him with shooters. You know, Bradley Beal's at an all-star clip. They just gave Berton $80 million, and they got a young Thomas Bryant who stretches the floor. So anytime you can surround Russ with shooters and allow him to create for his teammates and get to the basket, you're going to do a good job.
Now, Matt, what if you're James Harden? Does this move entice you to stay in Houston now?
This is interesting because I think James's displeasure was with management, and they're doing what they can. I love the move by signing DeMarcus Cousins. I hope he can stay healthy. And then you get a John Wall coming off. He hasn't played since the end of 2018. So if you get a healthy John Wall and a healthy DeMarcus Cousins, that's a very solid lineup. That's going to stand well in either division. So I'm hoping that Wall and Boogie Cousins could stay healthy this year. And I love to see their Kentucky connection back together.
And it's not like James Harden. It's up to him. He's got 2 years left on this deal with the Rockets. Always great. Thank you, Matt Barnes. Appreciate it.
Drew say, good to see you. We'll see you down the road. NBA champs making news. LeBron James agrees to a 2-year, $85 million extension with the Lakers. Deal ties James through the 22-23 season with the Lakers, which would be his 20th in the league. Average better than 25, better than 10, and almost 8 rebounds, while finishing second in regular season MVP voting and winning a ring and getting a finals MVP. As LeBron's salary increases, so does his age. He's owed just over $39 this upcoming season, and that extension kicks in after that, replacing the player option. James will make $44.5 when he's 38 years old. Hope Dave McMenamin enjoyed the 3 minutes off he got out of the bubble and the season getting ready to start. We're saddling back up and riding our Lakers horse here. I don't know that there's ever a bad time to take $80-some-odd million in guaranteed money, but why now for LeBron?
It kind of follows the same playbook, Scott, that he had back in 2016. He wins the championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He submits his commitment and loyalty to the franchise because that gave him everything he wants out of his NBA experience, being able to put his body, his mind, his family through an NBA season in order to get the ultimate prize of winning a championship and, validating his existence, trying to strive for greatness for the greatest of all time. He did this again here, win the championship with the Lakers. Why did he have to think about going anywhere else? And of course, the other caveat, just last year we were talking about him being in his mid-30s, missing the playoffs, having the biggest injury of his career. Well, this actually guards against some of that, gives it an extra year guaranteed money, $85 million, not a bad payday.
Well, the ultimate thing, I think, for LeBron, and he spoke of it, is maybe someday teaming up with his son. Now, look, Bronny, who knows if he's going to be an NBA talent, if he's an NBA talent. We don't know that yet. But if we do the math here, Dave, you don't have to squint to see what it would be. Free agency sets up around the time, presumably, Bronny could be heading to the NBA. All right, is it reasonable to connect those dots?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, think about it. LeBron put it out there in the 2017 finals that the greatest accomplishment of his career would be someday playing alongside his son in the NBA. This contract ends in 2023 at the same time that his son, Bronny, is slated to graduate from high school. Now, right now, with the current CBA, Bronny couldn't come right from high school to the NBA, but who knows if the CBA will have adjustments between now and then. And certainly, even if Bronny is not necessarily an outright lottery pick, if he's a borderline guy who you think could help your franchise potentially, while also be a guy who brings the gravitational pull of his father, who's one of the greatest players of all time, that's a real possibility.
Sure it is. And I think it's reasonable, given the type of fitness and commitment to fitness, Dave, that LeBron has shown, to say, even like to a degree like Brady, you know, like even if his age starts with a 4, I think in LeBron's case, it's almost, he's got a little Benjamin Button quality. I think it's reasonable to think he could play competitively at that stage. Do you?
I think so. And obviously, we just talked about that nearly season-ruining injury a year ago with the groin tear. But listen, I mean, this will take him through 20 seasons in the league. He'll be just shy of his 39th birthday. Who's to say he could play 2, 3, 4 more years at that point? He's already pushed the envelope so far already. I wouldn't put anything past him. And certainly if he has that carrot of the motivating factor of playing alongside his son, you know that's enough to probably get himself to do those extra 3-a-day workouts in the offseason. Man,
that's a hell of a lot of pressure on a young man named after his dad to be just good enough. You don't have to be as good as your dad. You just got to be good enough to play in the same league as him. We'll see if he's able to fulfill that promise, Dave. As always, appreciate the time. Be good, man. Texas against Carolina. Major trade in the NBA. Quite a headline anyway. Rockets have agreed to trade Russell Westbrook to Washington for John Wall and a protected first in 2023. Wall hasn't played since the day after Christmas of 2018 and has 3 years and more than $132 million left on his contract. Westbrook joins a Wizards team built around Bradley Beal, who averaged the second most points in the NBA last season and yet somehow is still woefully underrepresented in terms of all NBA teams, in my estimation. Washington also has a sharpshooter, Davis Bertans, who got paid, was coveted this offseason. Lottery picks in the last couple of years, including Denny Avdia. Steve, do you think it's a playoff team?
Yes.
I agree. Part of it's the East, but...
Correct.
As for Houston, John Wall reunites with DeMarcus Cousins after they played together at Kentucky. Speaking of reunites, Westbrook gets back together with Scott Brooks, who he was with in OKC. Be interesting to see how the game meshes with Harden, who became the first player since Michael Jordan to average 30 in 3 consecutive seasons. Adrian Wojnarowski, who blew up our rundown with his tweet about this news, joins us now. My guy Jeff and all of his Wizard buddy fans here in D.C. are bumming to see Wall, a perennial all-star, leave town. But Woj, he's a guy coming off an Achilles, and you know, explosiveness was his calling card. What does Houston think they're getting in Wall?
Well, they think they're getting a player who wants to be with the Rockets and who has shown in the months since, has been working out this summer, that he's got some explosion back. He's expanded his game. He's shooting a three-pointer well with all of this time off. But listen, this was a trade of 2 players on 2 teams who wanted to go in the other direction. Russell Westbrook wanted to be in Washington, reunited with Scotty Brooks, play with Brad Beal, and John Wall wanted to play with James Harden, wanted to go to Houston, and finally they got that deal done this afternoon. The 2 general managers hadn't talked in weeks, and Russell Westbrook's agent Thad Fouché really got them talking today, and then within a few hours they had a deal.
Well, as you know better than anybody, if the right deal comes along, anything can happen. But can we mostly assume that this means Harden remains in Houston for the time and Beal remains in Washington for the time?
Yeah, our Tim McMahon was reporting today that Houston stance has not changed. They expect to play through here with James Harden. They don't want to trade him. And I think they have more of a cushion to work with than Washington does because Beal's free agency comes up sooner. But the hope in Houston is that Wall can, regain some of his old form, that those 2 can find a chemistry, and that James Harden, starts to think again about wanting to stay longer term with the Rockets. But right now, they plan to certainly start the season with James Harden and John Wall as their backcourt.
Adrian Wojnarowski, the best, as always.